right, so let's talk about the cost of college and how much it actually costs to go to college. And the College Board reports that a moderate college budget for 2013 is, if you're going to a public school being around right around $22,000, 22 to 22.5. The average for a private school is $43,000 a year, anywhere between 43 and 43.5. And for a two-year school, it's around $7,000 a year for tuition at those schools. So, so what goes into the cost? What are you paying for? First thing is tuition. This is what they charge. They charge us usually by unit of time. Usually they'll charge you. They won't charge you for a year. They'll charge you for a semester. If you're going to be a part-time student, they'll charge you per credit. So that's what tuition covers. It's just actually just the it covers their teaching costs and their administrative costs. For public schools, you do get a break if you're in. You get bargain price if you live in the state. So if you're going to a public school and you're going in state, you get a lower price. If you're out of state and you're going to a public school, they usually double the price as far as tuition goes. So I went to a public school at Rutgers, but I was out of state because I live in New York, so I paid twice as much. It's just what it is. So fees, by the way, I'm going to get to fees in a minute, but fees usually stay the same whether you're in state or out of state. So now some colleges also charge what's called a variable tuition based upon your major. So you do want to find that out. Like a science major might cost more as far as tuition. I know there's a couple schools that do that than something else, or a business major or whatever. So depending on the type of school. So you do want to ask that question before you apply or before you accept or before you pick a major. Do you have any variable tuitions? Is it different for different majors? All right, so the next thing that goes into cost of college is fees. So you're going to pay a fee. The fees that go into it are usually internet services, the school paper, free sporting events, ID cards. That's what the fees go to pay. There's lots of stuff that colleges do that they include into fees. Now some colleges, they put tuitions and fees together and they don't break it down, like what's going to where. Don't be afraid to ask what the fees cover if that is happening. If they don't list them out, like here's all the fees and things you can pay. Now, and usually colleges do not let you like piecemeal, like I don't want to read the paper, so I'm going to take that off. It's just you have to pay it as a student, but you should at least know what that is. So if they don't list them individually, you might want to ask the school, what are all the fees paying for that you're also paying. Next up is room and board. And as far as room and board goes, you might want to watch as far as actually paying for food, you can watch our videos on meal plans. Again, I'll say it again, never get a 21 meal plan or a maximum meal plan. You do not need maximum meal plans. Waste of money. So college boards estimate, whether it's public or private school, about $10,000 for room and board. And that's, of course, if you're staying on campus, if you're living at the school and eating meals there. If you're staying at home, you're a commuter, obviously these fees or that money won't really apply to you as much. Books and school supplies will be another thing that they'll put in there as estimated costs. Some include this when they're talking to you about how much. If you're talking to a financial aid person, that might talk about this. Some don't, and so you have to ask. How much do books cost, or what kind of things does the school? What are school supplies? What is that, and what am I paying for? All right. So that might be like laptops. I know some colleges now give students laptops, or art supplies if it's an art school, or whatever the supplies are. That's what they do. So you have to ask these questions. College Board reports the average cost of books for a semester should be anywhere between $1,200 to for a year, $1,200 to $1,400. So you're talking about $600-700 per semester, full-time student for books. Now we are going to have a video later on about saving money on books. You should not be buying books, we'll talk about it later, but from the bookstore. You should buy your books online and save yourself a ton of money that way. That could be cut almost in half if you do some smart things as far as buying your books. Also goes into the cost of college is transportation and what we call other expenses. As far as those things go, these are expenses that colleges may not bill you directly for, but they cost you money, so the college tells you about them, and they need to be accounted for. Sometimes you'll see this listed as estimated expenses or miscellaneous expenses or personal expenses, or sometimes just go under other. So this category, by the way, by the College Board, was around $3,000 a year. So even though it's miscellaneous or personal or other, it's not small. It's twice as much as your books there. A part of that might be transportation, you know, getting to and from the school, around the school, personal stuff. They're just telling you, you know, buying things for school, going to school, you know, paying for a car. A part of that also, by the way, should be parking, and I'm going to give my 2 cents on parking. If you are commuting to school, or usually most schools that you're dorming in your first year, freshman, sophomore, even usually most of it's freshman, sophomore year, you can't have cars. But if you can have a car on campus or you are commuting to campus, I will tell you that parking tickets are a major generator of revenue for colleges. They will, if you park illegally at a college, you will get caught. They check that, they pay a lot for the people to go around during each period, or however the day is broken up, to check the spots. If you don't pay your meter, if there's metered spots, they will catch you. I mean, they are on top of that, like, I don't know, they're on top of it. And so, and you don't pay the fine right away, they'll double it, they'll triple your fines if you don't pay them. Okay, so so you get a parking ticket at a college, and you just don't go pay it right away. All right, so they will stop you from registering from classes for the next semester, or they'll just add them all up, and you won't be able to graduate, and you won't be able to get your degree, which because of parking tickets. So they are not a joke, and most colleges do not have enough parking. I've yet to go to a college or heard a student at any college that I've talked to, all the students that I've spoken to, where they were like, "Oh, parking's a breeze at this place." So just be ready for that if you are going to have a car in school or you're commuting to school. Now, when you're commuting, also they'll have a separate lot, but that lot, like the commuter lot at almost any college, is way somewhere far away from the actual campus. You're going to have to park. You're going to have to wait for a bus and go to your school, or you're going to have to walk really far. So just be prepared for that, which is why you're going to either have to wake up early, or you're going to get prepared to walk and give yourself extra time if you want to find parking at a school. So you can watch our video on commuter tips if you want more help on parking and finding a place to park. So, but just be prepared that is a big expense as far as school goes with a car or commuting. If you are commuting. So so that's about it. Those are all the expenses. That's the cost that goes into college, so and as I'll say with every single video, is especially when it comes to the finances, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to call the register, go to the register, talk to the financial aid person, ask questions. The more you know, the more likely you are to find something that you could help your costs. And watch the other videos. We'll teach you how to cut some corners and save some money as far as college goes too.